Hey guys, Lily from Sweet to Savory here. Are you busy baking holiday cookies these days? Would you like to know a recipe that's a little bit different? Well, shortbread cookies just got an upgrade. These are my Apple Rose Shortbread cookies. It looks more complicated than it actually is to make. It's all in the technique. I chose ambrosia apples for its crisp and sweet flavor, but also because of its blend of red and yellow color on the peel, so that once you roll them up into a rose, it looks more like a realistic rose. You can use any apple to your choosing, but I chose to use ambrosia apples. The shortbread cookie dough really worked in this recipe. Here's what it looks like cut in half. Each bite tastes more like apple pie in cookie form. I'm excited to show you. So if you want to learn how to make it, stay with me until the end of this video and I will show you how. To get started, we have to prepare the apples first. Rinse 3 large ambrosia apples or apples of your choice. Remove the stem and then cut the apple in half from top to bottom. Then cut off the stem and the bud part on each end of the apple with a paring knife, and then remove the apple's core with the knife or a spoon. Do this for the remaining apples. Now, slice apples into 1 centimeter thick slices with a sharp knife and make sure to discard the ends. I cut my apples with the stem side of the apple facing my 9 o'clock. In a large saucepan, add 3 liters of water or enough water to fill it near the brim of your pan. Add half a cup of sugar and a whole lemon cut in half into the water. Adding sugar and lemon is optional. I like to do this to add back a little sweetness to the apple slices and prevent them from browning. Bring everything to a rolling boil on high heat, then reduce the heat to medium-high. Place a large mesh strainer into the pan and fill it with about a cup of the sliced apples. Blanch apples for 1.5 to 2 minutes, then shake off excess water and set them aside in a large bowl. Repeat the step until all of the sliced apples are blanched. Are you wondering why we're doing this? Well, blanching apples makes them softer and more bendable, which in turn makes them roll-friendly for when we assemble them with the shortbread dough. Otherwise, you may have a more challenging time rolling them without this step. Do a quick bend test. If the apple slice bends without breaking, you can set it aside. If it doesn't bend and splits in half, blanch apple slices for another 10 to 15 seconds. Allow blanched apples to cool for 30 minutes in the refrigerator. While the apples are cooling, you can start on the dough. To succeed at making shortbread cookie dough, make sure to use room temperature butter. Add butter, vanilla sugar, salt, and white sugar to the bowl of your stand mixer fitted with a paddle attachment. Cream everything together for at least 10 minutes until the mixture is doubled in volume and dissolved most of the sugar. I highly recommend using vanilla sugar to keep the dough as light in color as possible. If you have difficulty finding vanilla sugar, then the vanilla extract is okay. Just be aware that it will darken your dough a little. Lastly, add the flour and mix the dough enough to incorporate the flour. However, do not overmix the dough to keep your cookies less dense. Scoop dough into a large bowl, cover it with plastic wrap, and refrigerate the dough for 15 minutes to firm up. In order for you to succeed at assembling and rolling everything together without it crumbling apart on you, you need to use a large piece of parchment paper that is cut in half lengthwise. Now onto assembling your cookie. Since a shortbread dough has a high amount of butter, turn down the heat in your house to slow the butter from melting while you work, or turn your AC up if you're living in a warmer climate. Sprinkle a little flour on one of the parchment pieces. Scoop 2 tablespoons of dough into your hand, sprinkle it with a little bit of flour, roll it into a ball, and then shape the dough into a 4-inch log. Place the log on your floured parchment paper, and then sprinkle a little more flour onto the dough log. Press it down with the palm of your hand lightly and place the second sheet of parchment paper on top of it. Rotate the parchment paper 90 degrees counterclockwise. Use a French rolling dowel or glass bottle and roll the dough out to a rectangular shape with an approximate dimension of 9 inches in length and 4 inches in width. A French rolling dowel or glass bottle is preferred since it's lightweight and makes it easier for you to roll the dough. Slowly peel off the top parchment paper. Then use a long chef's knife and trim the edges so that you end up with a clean rectangle. You should end up with the dimensions of 7 inches in length and 3 inches in width. Place 4 apple slices staggered along the top edge of your dough, leaving the bottom half of the dough exposed. Use your parchment paper as a guide to fold up the bottom and on top of your apple slices. Smooth the folded dough and slowly peel back the parchment paper. Turn your dough 90 degrees counterclockwise again. Start rolling the cookie together by pulling on the parchment paper with one hand and rolling your apple rose with the other hand at the same time. This rolling method helps keep your shortbread cookie dough intact while creating your rose cookie. Adjust the petals by slightly opening them up if they were rolled too tight. Place your rose cookie into a non-stick muffin pan. There is no need to grease the pan since there is enough butter in your dough that will prevent it from sticking after it's baked. Refrigerate the muffin pan for 15 minutes. This will help the cookie dough firm up before it's baked. Then bake cookies at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 to 25 minutes. Allow cookies to cool in the pan for 5 minutes. Then transfer them to a wire rack to cool for another 10 minutes. Sprinkle a bit of icing sugar on top of your cookies for added sweetness and decor if you like. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, comment down below, and be sure to subscribe. See you in my next video.